Imagine waking up on a quiet morning, checking your mailbox, and finding a handwritten letter. It's addressed to you by your full name. At first, you think it's just a regular letter. But as you open it, your blood turns to ice. This isn't just a random threat. This is a total invasion of your privacy. It mentions the exact time you go to sleep, the single light you leave on in the hallway, and a secret hidden in your basement that no one else should know about. But it's the signature at the bottom that makes your heart stop. The name belongs to a notorious serial killer who was executed exactly 12 years ago. This is not a work of fiction. This is a real-life case that terrified European police and remains, to this day, officially unsolved. The story begins in 2008 with the Kraus family. They lived a perfectly quiet life in a small town in northern Europe. They had no criminal history, no known enemies, and no scandals. They were just an ordinary family in an ordinary neighborhood, but that peace shattered the day the first letter arrived. It was written in dark ink, with a shaky but deliberate hand, as if the writer savored every single stroke of the pen. The message was short, chillingly calm, and deeply unsettling. It warned the family that they were being watched and that their turn was coming soon. At first, the father tried to dismiss it as a sick prank, until his eyes fell on the signature Viktor Hellman. The name was like a lightning bolt. Viktor Hellman was not just any criminal. He was the monster of the 90s, responsible for 9 brutal murders. He had been arrested, tried, and officially executed in 1996. His death was documented, witnessed, and recorded. There was no doubt he had been in a grave for over a decade. So, how was it possible for his hand to write a letter to a family he had no connection to? When the family contacted the police, the initial reaction was dismissive. Copycats and trolls often use famous killers' names to cause panic. The police filed the letter away and told the family not to worry. But 7 days later, a second letter arrived, and everything changed. This letter contained specific details about a real-life murder that had occurred just 48 hours earlier in a neighboring town. It described the location of the body, the exact positioning of the victim's hands, and a tiny, specific wound behind the victim's ear that had never been released to the public. It was information known only to the killer and the lead investigators. And once again, it was signed Viktor Hellman. The investigation was immediately reopened at the highest level. Handwriting experts were brought in to compare the new letters with the original notes Hellman had written during his time in prison. The results stunned everyone involved. The handwriting was a 100% match. It wasn't just similar or close. It was identical. The pressure of the pen, the spacing between the letters, and even the rare, unique spelling mistakes that Hellman used to make were all there. Experts officially stated that the same hand had written both sets of letters. The police were now facing a terrifying paradox. The writer of these letters was a man who no longer existed in the world of the living. Soon, the fear moved from the paper into the reality of their home. The Kraus family began noticing small, chilling changes. The basement door would be found wide open, even after they had locked it. Objects were moved slightly from where they were left. At night, faint, rhythmic footsteps could be heard pacing in the hallway. Then came the third letter. It wasn't delivered by mail this time. It was found sitting neatly on the kitchen table inside their locked house. The message mocked them, stating that their back door didn't close properly and suggested they fix it to avoid another visit. Panic took over. The mother collapsed, the children stopped sleeping, and the police turned the house into a fortress. Cameras were installed in every corner, Motion sensors were set up, and officers watched from unmarked cars outside. Yet, the cameras saw nothing. The sensors caught no movement. But the letters continued to appear. One letter was sent directly to the police station, mocking the detectives and claiming they were searching in the wrong places. The final line read, "I never really left." That sentence forced investigators to dig back into Hellman's execution files. A detective noticed something previously ignored. In the days leading up to his execution, Hellman had requested sessions with a prison psychiatrist. In the notes from the very last session, Hellman had said something cryptic. "The body goes, but the message remains." No one understood what that meant until one night at 2:17 a.m. The police received a frantic, screaming call from the Kraus father. He claimed someone was inside the house, standing right at the end of the hallway. Police arrived within minutes and swarmed the building. The house was empty. There was no sign of forced entry, no one hiding in the shadows. But written on the wall of the children's bedroom, in fresh blood, was a final message. "I told you, I am not dead." The family was immediately relocated. Their identities changed, and the case was eventually closed due to a complete lack of suspects. 2 years later, a single envelope arrived at the central police station with no return address. Inside was a single line. "Did you miss me?" It was signed, once again, by Viktor Hellman. The question remains to haunt anyone who hears this story. If the killer was truly executed, who wrote those letters? Was it a copycat with impossible knowledge in the world's most perfect forgery? Or is it possible that some minds are capable of surviving death itself? If a letter like that appeared in your mailbox tonight, signed by someone who shouldn't exist, would you open the door? Or would you realize, far too late, that he's already inside with you? Thanks for watching. If this story chilled you to the bone, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more mysteries that will keep you up at night. See you in the next one.